The Minecraft movie is the first big hit of 2025, and this just proves that video game adaptations are definitely here to stay. But did you know that besides being an amazing movie, it's packed with details that only true hardcore fans of the game manage to catch? Every Minecraft player's first night is pretty terrifying, and the characters in the movie had to go through the same desperate situation. While running away from a horde of monsters, Garrett ends up falling into a hole and has to dig his way out to escape. The cool detail in this scene is that just above Garrett, you can spot some diamond ore blocks. That's a pretty curious touch, since diamonds are among the rarest ores in the game and are usually only found deep inside caves. If Garrett had found those diamonds, it would have been an incredible stroke of luck. Although, to be fair, he didn't have an iron pickaxe, so he wouldn't have been able to mine them anyway. And this is just the first of the 19 details and Easter eggs you missed in the Minecraft movie. So get comfy and dive in. It's time for another Cinewave. When the main characters reach a village, they come across all kinds of different villagers, which is expected since each villager has their own profession. But besides the regular villagers, there's also an intruder who slips by unnoticed, a snowy biome villager. Somehow he ended up in this village from a completely different biome for some unexplained reason. Maybe this means that in the movie universe, villagers actually leave their villages and visit others to trade or do similar stuff, unlike in the game, where they pretty much never leave their own villages. One of the coolest scenes in the movie is when Henry, Garrett, and Steve use elytra wings to fly and escape from the ghasts, especially since Henry uses a firework rocket to fly even faster. This wasn't made up just for the movie, because players can actually use fireworks to boost themselves while flying with elytra. After all, the wings don't exactly make you fly, they let you glide, or rather fall, with style, just like Batman. Without the help of fireworks, you'll eventually lose speed and fall. During the climax, Steve has a pretty wild fight against Malegosia, the villain of the movie. He even throws several eggs at her, and some of them hatch tiny chickens when they break. This is another fun nod to a game mechanic, because you really can throw eggs in Minecraft, and they have a chance of hatching chickens when they break. Sure, it's not exactly the most powerful battle tactic out there, but they can come in handy if you want to knock an enemy off a ledge. The movie really brought a lot of the game's elements to life, even the totally random mechanics like this one. At the end of the story, the heroes return to the real world, but they definitely don't forget the adventure they lived. They even come up with their own fighting game inspired by Minecraft called Block City Battle Boss. This game was made up for the movie, but its name might be an Easter egg referring to a real game, Block City Wars, which, even though it looks a lot like GTA, also has visuals super similar to Minecraft. In fact, it looks so much like it that it's basically considered a Minecraft clone. So what do you think? Was that reference intentional? Steve is a veteran player, and his house is packed with all sorts of items, some built by him and others found during his adventures. Besides the weapons he mentions, there are other items in his arsenal that only true players will recognize: a golden apple and a golden carrot, both rare and powerful foods, a leather helmet, a turtle shell helmet, which lets you breathe underwater, a healing potion, a fire resistance potion, a swiftness potion, and even a carved pumpkin helmet, which they should have taken to the Woodland Mansion since it keeps Endermen from attacking you even if you look them straight in the eyes. And in Steve's chest, there's a Totem of Undying, a relic that saves the player if they die while holding it. So has Steve already died once and been brought back to life thanks to this artifact? This item is actually dropped by an evoker when it's defeated, and evokers are usually found in Woodland Mansions. If Henry had defeated an evoker instead of an Enderman when they raided one of those mansions, he would have ended up with a Totem of Undying instead of an Ender Pearl. Would you have liked to see one of the characters use the Totem of Undying to come back to life? If so, drop a comment below with #Totem. In the scene where Vice Principal Marlene is having a romantic dinner with a villager who accidentally ended up on Earth, she calls him a Swede. And if you think there's no hidden meaning in that line, you're totally wrong. Guess who else is Swedish? Notch, the creator of Minecraft. So yep, there's a reference to him. Back in 2014, Notch sold the rights to the game and his studio Mojang to Microsoft for $2.5 billion. That's why he hasn't had any say in the game's future for over 10 years, and he also had no involvement with the movie. Also, in this same scene, you probably didn't notice that Marlene and the villagers' dinner is made up of potatoes and carrots, because those two foods are among the ones villagers actually grow in their villages. Somehow, Marlene managed to find out that these are her new lover's favorite foods, or maybe she just really loves potatoes and carrots too. Either way, these two were clearly meant for each other. Just like in the game, pandas and other animals in the Minecraft movie only need to stand next to each other and eat something they like for little hearts to pop up above their heads and for a baby to just appear between them. There's no pregnancy or anything like that. The baby simply shows up, just like magic. It's like the world in the movie is a game too, since it follows the same wacky mechanics. But hey, it would be kind of weird to expect logic in a world made of floating blocks, right? Speaking of that, in the first post-credit scene of the movie, the villager who ended up on Earth proposes to Marlene, and when she says yes, a bunch of little hearts appear around her head. Exactly like what happens when animals or villagers in the game are about to have a baby. This could mean that at that very moment, the villager and the vice principal had a child the same way the other characters from the overworld did. The baby doesn't show up in the scene, but that might be because they're saving the surprise for a possible sequel. And now we're left wondering, will their baby be a villager or a human, or maybe some kind of hybrid? Oh, and if you haven't seen the movie yet and you're wondering how the villager even managed to propose to her, it's actually simpler than you think. He learned how to communicate like a human. Meanwhile, the vice principal learned to speak like a villager. This confirms that villagers do have their own language that can be learned, and the reason they always talk in that weird way has been a mystery for players. Plus, it shows that they can learn to speak our language too. They just haven't done it because they're not really interested. The most important item in the movie's story is the Orb of Dominance, which, despite the name, is actually a cube, like everything else in the Minecraft universe. This item does exist in Minecraft Dungeons, a spin-off game. However, the movie took some creative liberty and made it look pretty different from the original version. In Minecraft Dungeons, the Orb of Dominance is colorful, while in the movie, it's blue. When the movie's version of the relic is combined with the Earth Crystal, it ends up looking a lot like the Beacon, an item from the original Minecraft that has nothing to do with the Orb of Dominance and is used to shoot beams of light into the sky. And when Malgosha uses the Orb of Dominance to trap the overworld in eternal night during the movie's climax, it shoots out a beam of light super similar to the one from a beacon. Makes you wonder if that similarity was on purpose, doesn't it? When the heroes break into the Woodland Mansion, Steve and Garrett decide to distract the bad guys while Henry goes after the Earth Crystal. Instead of fighting them or doing something obvious, they choose to grab the bad guys' attention with music. More specifically, with a saxophone performance. This is a little nod to Steve's actor, Jack Black. Besides acting, he's also a musician, and yep, he knows how to play the saxophone. Before we move on to the next batch of Easter eggs, how about you hit that subscribe button? That way you'll never miss our daily videos about everything you love. Right after that scene, Garrett and Steve get thrown into a ring to fight a baby zombie riding a chicken, one of the worst nightmares for any Minecraft player. And this scene wasn't just random. You see, Jack Black also starred in a wrestling movie called Nacho Libre. And guess who directed that movie? Jared Hess, who also directed the Minecraft movie. He probably included this scene as a fun nod to his own movie. When the heroes are making their way into a cave, Garrett ends up triggering some traps that fire arrows straight at him. And among those arrows, there are some with cactus tips. Sadly, it's not actually possible to fire cactus-tipped arrows in Minecraft, but the idea to include this in the movie came from Mumbo Jumbo, a famous Minecraft YouTuber. Yep, the movie's production team asked a bunch of Minecraft YouTubers for advice to make the film even more awesome. When the piglins invade the overworld, some of them show up riding ghasts like their vehicles, and while they're chasing after Henry, Garrett, and Steve, one of the piglins pounds on a drum in a scene that's clearly a Mad Max reference. It's funny how you end up finding Mad Max references even in kids' movies. And that wasn't the only pop culture classic referenced in the Minecraft movie, because in one scene, Don hands the Orb of Dominance to Henry and says the artifact will be in good hands with him, especially since he looks like Frodo. Frodo is one of the main characters in The Lord of the Rings, a super famous movie franchise based on an equally famous book series. He has to carry a powerful ring with him, and that's exactly where the comparison comes from. Plus, let's be honest, Henry's actor really does look like Frodo. When Steve shows the village to the main characters, he points out that the villagers pretty much built everything, except for the coolest stuff. In other words, he customized the village and added some of his own builds, which is something just about every Minecraft player has done too. And in that same scene, you can spot a massive dog statue in the village, a clear tribute to Dennis, Steve's wolf. There's no doubt it was one of the builds that Jack Black's character added to the village. He really does love his pet wolf, doesn't he? The video's coming to an end, but we left 2 super fun videos on your screen so you can keep having a great time. Just click on the one that catches your eye the most. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time!